Excuse me, I've got a bit of a frog in my throat. I could have changed my earrings and my scarf to make it look like I was doing another day's work, but no. I have the opportunity and a little bit of time, and I thought that I would do another video for you about one of my favorite topics, which is hypermobility. I tripped over hypermobility. What is hypermobility? What does it mean? And a few other wonderful things about the cerebrospinal fluid and the way that science is coming towards yoga when I was studying for my doctorate. My studies were in spiritual development, and that's where they started, and they kind of meandered into hypermobility and the cerebrospinal connection. But we will start with hypermobility. What does it look like? Well, people think that hypermobility is only available to be seen when a person is very flexible, above the ordinary kind of flexible. They would say, oh yes, that person is hypermobile, but I don't have many in my classes. Hypermobility is special. No, hypermobility is different, and you may have it hiding in your classes. A really good test for hypermobility, which is becoming more and more evident every year as more and more people display the symptom or the syndrome, is, I don't know, I have to lean a bit. I don't have those kind of funny elbows, but do you know, or have you noticed any of your students who look like they've got their elbows on back to front? They look most strange against your elbows, or maybe your elbows are back to front. But you know what I mean. My elbows are straight. My arm is straight. But people who are hypermobile, when they straighten their arm, you say, straighten your arm. They say, it is straight. No. It has that joint going upwards, even though they believe it's straight. Or you might have someone who can bend their hand right back and touch right back. Or someone in your class might have hyperflex knees. Those are all obvious signs of a hypermobile person. But they are not the only ones. Hypermobility is caused, we believe, and this is not just something I thought up on the way to work one day. Hypermobility is caused, it's a symptom of a collagen malformation, and it's genetic. So even if we identify it, we can't fix it, and nobody else has found a way to do that yet, unless they're swapping T cells around and doing genetic engineering. It's a genetic problem in collagen. Collagen is a protein. There are 22 different kinds in the body, and they occur everywhere. So if a person is hypermobile to any extent, that collagen malformation will be evident in their brain cells, in neural pathways, in bones, in muscles, in their gut. Anywhere there's protein, that's where the malformation will be evident. Some people will never know they have it, and others it will be debilitating. One of the unfortunate things is when it shows up as a person becomes pregnant, because people may have hypermobile hips and knees. Their muscles may not be strong and they may not have worked on them to make them stronger. And you add the weight of a baby to that, it's not a good outcome. Up to this point, doctors were prescribing belts and supports and things like that, but it still doesn't solve the problem. The person still can't walk across the kitchen without great pain. Oh, there's different, some maybe just a little bit loose, because the hormones that are released as you walk into pregnancy exacerbate this problem too. So you have the hormones running around making you loose, and you've already got this terrible looseness. And before I understood about hypermobility, people would tell me about this, and I'd try and think about a yogic answer for it, but it's very difficult if you don't know what the problem is. So, we can't fix the problem, but you can, in prenatal, encourage them to wear a support belt. Help them to understand that no matter how much yoga they do, it's not going to help. And can they do it in a bean bag? Can they do it sitting on a ball? Any way that they can do it that eases the struggle of the hips and the belly and the core to deal with this new weight that's thrust upon it. People who are hypermobile, please read my books and read my course on www.myyogabooks.etsy.com. www.myyogabooks.etsy.com. I've written extensively on this, and I even have a small course. It's not a standalone course, it's for people who are in fitness or who are have hypermobility and want to understand it a little bit more. It will help you understand it. There is a question after each group of ideas and exam at the end if you want to do it as you're elected. My school. Because hypermobility means that somebody, it's quite possibly, has problems with numbers or letters because the connections in the brain are not as quick. They might have irritable bowel, they might have chronic fatigue syndrome. There's a great list of things that apply, and they're now looking at the possibility that hypermobility also is a factor in Alzheimer's and dementia. When I was younger, I got chucked out of the ballet because they said I had lazy ankles and my knees went all funny places and I had very bad scoliosis. If I looked at myself now, I would have said then that I had hypermobility that showed then. And the fact that I have irritable bowel syndrome and various other things like that kind of tick the boxes for hypermobility. Luckily, yoga, I've done so much yoga. Yoga has helped me straighten out my back and helped me straighten out my legs. I have been very careful with food and supplementation and gradually worked myself out of the condition. It's taken 4 years of working with an acupuncturist in this specific area to work on my gut, and it's still not 100%. But he uses me as an example of somebody who has changed their whole metabolism, and yoga has helped me do that. So please look at the book that I have written, read it, and don't look at your class and imagine that only people who are exhibiting extreme flexibility are the only ones who are hypermobile. Hypermobile is something we have to watch out, because when we teach yoga to people who are hypermobile, yin yoga may not be good for them, restorative is pretty good for them, and general asanas, doesn't matter what discipline that you're in, you have to teach to bring people back to integrity and strength not overstretch. Keep on bringing them back, because by the time they understand that they've stretched, they've gone too far. They can't feel what they're doing. There's a lot more I'm going to speak on about this subject. You can tell I don't have an auto cue, so I'm just feeling my way here. If you have any questions, please email me. My website, you'll find it on my website, www.yogabeautiful.com, and go to the books, www.myyogabooks.etsy.com, and really get to work on some of these subjects. I'm not a medical doctor, but I've been working in this field of yoga for 50 years, and so I really think that I have a small understanding. You know, as it said in a book, I'm no one, but God sent me to you. That I could lead you and you could lead someone else. Namaste.